Hey guys, welcome to JoJo Cider Reviews and More. I'm JoJo. Tonight I have a very special review for you guys. It's an American classic beer, and I'm talking about Old Milwaukee, guys. It says it right on the label, America's beer, and 4.6% alcohol by volume. Pretty hard to find in my area. I think it might be in Waltham, Massachusetts, which is about maybe half an hour south of me, but it's hard to find in general in this area. Supposedly it's available in all 50 states. But my friends Pat and Lily got this for me. Hey, buddy. It's my buddy Dwight. And they got this out of, I think, Concord, New Hampshire at a Rite Aid. And they got me a can, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you, guys. It's a kind of a complicated, I don't know if I say complicated history, but there's a lot of history with this beer, guys. It was, a lot of sources will say it was introduced in 1849. That's just when Joseph Schlitz Company was introduced, when it first started. The actual Old Milwaukee beer started in 1934. Went away for many years for whatever reason, and then it was reintroduced. Reintroduced in 1955. It was very popular in, I want to say, the 70s. You would see it in a lot of outdoor commercials, a lot of camping commercials. When I think about this beer, I think of like camping. In that regard, I kind of associate it with Busch beer. Two different companies, InBev and then Pabst Brewing, but I always associate it with that. And it was, so I'm kind of, I have to backtrack. So what happened is it was bought out by Stroh's Brewing Company in 1982, okay? And then eventually Pabst Brewing Company bought it in 2000, so now it's owned by the Pabst Brewing Company. And, you see it on, I saw a lot of commercials with Will Ferrell, promoted it maybe about 10 or so years ago. The first commercial, I think, was during the Super Bowl. And I just kind of associate the 70s with it. Like, even one of my favorite movies is Superbad. In the movie, a lot of two of the characters are actually drinking Old Milwaukee, which, the movie is set in the 70s. So it just kind of reminds me of the 70s. And it's an American adjunct lager. And there's actually 4 brands of Old Milwaukee. There's Old Milwaukee, which I have, the full lager. There's Old Milwaukee Light, and there's Old Milwaukee Ice, which I've never seen in my life. And from what I hear, it's hard to find. And there's Old Milwaukee non-alcoholic as well. And they had a Pinup Girl series on the can a little while ago. Now it's just like kind of the Old Milwaukee emblem. It's hard to find. There's like a Old Milwaukee locator. That I'm not sure if it's up and running anymore, but that was interesting. Kind of like similar to the McRib, how there was like a locator online. And yeah, so let's get into it. Again, thank you, Pat and Lily, for getting me this. I got my JoJo Cider Reviews and More custom-made glass that my best friend Dave and my cousin Alicia got me. Thank you guys again. Let's go in for the pour here. All right. I would say that's a solid white head, not even really off-white. That's a solid white head, maybe 3 fingers worth, and ton of bubbles streaming up to the surface. It just looks like a crisp beer. Classic straw yellow color that you get in a lot of the lagers, American lagers. Ton of bubbles streaming up to the surface. You can see through the glass. It looks clean, crisp. It's going for the aroma. Water. You get those malt, like white bread notes. Also some sweetness as well. I get that malt sweetness and malt bready notes. Just smells clean, crisp. Might be a touch of bitterness, but not a whole heck of a lot at all by any means. Good head retention though. Without further ado, salute. That's pretty full flavored. I mean, it definitely crisp. Get that white bread note. Goes down very, very smooth. Very sessionable. Semi-dry finish. A little bit sweet on the finish. I'm getting a little bit of sweetness here. A decent amount of sweetness, to be honest with you. in that regard, kind of reminds me of like a Budweiser. I've always thought Budweiser kind of has a sweetness to it. This kind of does as well. It's a creamy mouth feel as well, with as far as the head is concerned, but light mouth feel, light bodied. Very sessionable at 4.6%. You could have a few of these and be pretty fine. Good amount of lacing there as well. Maybe a touch, and I mean a touch of hop bitterness, but it's very, very subdued. You're getting more of the malt brightness is kind of running the show. Smooth, crisp, clean, semi-dry finish. What more can you say? This is a great beer. I wish it was more readily available in my area. Can't stress that enough. I want to make sure I'm not missing any notes here. This won a ton of awards too, guys. For the, I think even the non-alcoholic beer is actually, some people say it's one of the most, it's the best non-alcoholic beer you can get. Old Milwaukee. Learned that from Louisiana Beer Reviews, and it's really good. I just wish it was easier to find. For a score, one more sip. Very good, solid. I'm going to give it a 87 out of 100. It's B+, very, very good. I would get it again. Oh, got a little more here. You know, like I said, it reminds me of camping. It just reminds me of the 70s, even though I was not alive during the 70s. I was like -10, but it reminds me of the 70s, and I really, really enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So, till next time, salute.